Do you know?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen from around the world. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Global Talkative Series, a global platform to hang out, inspire one another, and then to encourage one another, through some collaborations with our friends and partners from around the world. Now, we've been blessed on this show to have amazing and wonderful guests from around the world coming to this show, taking time out of their busy schedule to come share their expertise, acquired experience over a long period of time to a global audience. And especially during this period of coronavirus and a lot of issues going on in our world, we find it very, encouraging to bring individuals, on this show to come, speak to us and then ask questions and then get understanding. The good book says that our getting we should get understanding, and that is why we are doing this to increase our understanding to help ourselves become a better person. And today is not an exception. We have an amazing guest in the house, an important person in the society, my friend, my brother, and he's going to be sharing with us some amazing information, important things that we need to know, especially during this age of uh everything going on social media, cybersecurity, the challenges and the opportunities. And like we do it on this show, I'm just going to read a brief bio about our guest, and then I'm going to bring the guest in to Instagram right away so that everybody can, go along with us. Thank you, Smigvo, for joining. I am Prosperity. Thank you for joining. We appreciate you. And we are reaching you now from our studio in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, Global Talkative Studio. And we're coming to you Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, real time live chat. So I can see our guest today, and he's coming into the studio right about now. Alphatori Breeze, thank you very much for joining. We appreciate you. Oh, that is our guest right there on Instagram. Now, our guest today is no other person than Dr. Obadari Peter Adewale. He's a privacy, cybersecurity, and GRC professional. And our topic of discussion today is career trends post COVID 19 and cybersecurity control measures. Career trends post COVID 19 and cybersecurity control measures. And like we do it on this show, I'm just going to read the bio of our guest. And what is so important about today's guest is that it was on our show, a couple of weeks ago, about a month plus ago. And we had a session, and we have folks all over the world saying that we got to bring Dr. Peter back into the studio. That the amount of content that is given, the revelation in terms of cybersecurity control measures is so deep that we have to bring him. That is why we listen to you and we have him here, and it's an honor to have him. So I'm just going to read this bio and then we'll go straight into this question. Dr. Obada Repeat Adewale is the co-founder and chief operating officer of Digital and Co Limited. He is arguably the most credentialed Pan-African cybersecurity and GRC thought leader. He is a fellow of British Computer Society, fellow Institute of Management Consultants, fellow Institute of Information Management, fellow Institute of Brand Management, Chartered Information Technology Professional, the first PECB certified data protection officer in Nigeria, the first EC Council License Penetration Tester (LPT) in Africa, first EC Council certified blockchain in Africa, second COVID-5 certified assessor in Africa, payment, card industry data security standard qualified security assessor. He is a seasoned cybersecurity expert and GRC technopreneur with over 50 international professional certifications to his credit, and was awarded honorary doctorate degree in cybersecurity from Trinity International University of Ambassadors, Atlanta, Georgia, in the United States of America. Peter is a well-recognized subject matter and expert with numerous successful engagements to his credit in Africa. His skills and experience spans data privacy, cybersecurity, information security, vulnerability management, penetration testing, computer forensics, business continuity, IT governance, risk management, and compliance. He is a platinum team member of Open Source Security Testing Methodology Manual, as well a senior member of Risk Managers Association of Nigeria. Peter is the recipient of Faith Foundation Alumni Model Entrepreneur Award in 2017, African Leadership Award and Medal of Honor in Business 2018, and Nigerian Tech Innovation and Telecom Award for Cybersecurity Professionals of the Year 2018. He is an alumnus of Faith Foundation and U.S. Department of State Exchange Program. He is also a distinguished alumnus of Executive Education at Harvard Business School, Harvard School of Government, MIT Sloan School of Management, MIT Professional Education, and Oxford University said Business School, and so on and so more to come. That is an amazing resume. Like the last time, it's amazing. Welcome, Dr. Peter Obadari. How are you today?
Yeah, I'm very well. Thank you, Larry. It's my pleasure to be here once again. And thank you for hosting me. Thank you.
Dr. Ajile from Birmingham. Thank you for joining us. Said, can we see your face better? You need to move
Okay.
up, Peter.
Yeah,
So, oh,
I
we can
think I'm
see you.
adjusted. So can you see me properly now?
I guess I can see you. You can see you. And thank you
Yeah.
for all who are joining from around the world. Jacob Bulldog, thank you for joining. We appreciate you. And those who are joining from Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and all other platforms around the world. Thank you. And our topic today is something that is very important. During our last session with Dr. Peter, we had this discussion and it kept on going, about security measures, the control, the challenges and the fears. And, you know, this day and age, everything has moved you know, from let's say offline to online, banking, schools, our education, everything that has to do with our life is now moving gradually online, and there's a need for us to be educated in what steps to take to avoid some dangers and pitfalls. Recently we had this issue. We had this the arrest of a notorious fraudster, by the name that everybody knows, and happens to be Nigerian, and I must say that not all Nigerians are fraudsters. We have fraudsters all over the world. I've seen them
Oh,
in
yeah.
Canada here. I've seen
Oh, yeah.
fraudsters, here in Canada. I've seen it in the United States of America. They're all over the world. But, just a case in point, we had this issue of someone, being arrested, and it became a major news in Africa and Nigeria. And that tells us the need why we need to be much more careful when it comes to protecting lives and properties. Because by far and large, this generation, this world has proven that data is the most expensive thing in the world.
Oh,
So let's start
yes.
with that, Dr. Wale. How expensive is data? That is just my question, just my thought.
Okay. All right. Okay. So that's a very good way to start. The reality is when the new slogan that data is the new oil, data is the new gold, actually emanated because everything we do around the world is driven. Can you hear me?
Can I hear you? Yes, I'm just reducing my
All
volume
right.
on my
Okay.
phone.
Oh,
Okay,
I
I can hear
see.
you.
So because everything we do around the world now is driven by data. If
Hmm.
you want to make informed business decision, you need data. In the 21st century, which we are in, which is a digital era. All right. So because the world primarily is gravitating toward what's one of the most IT icon in Nigeria named Dr. Chris Owaje used to say a long time ago that the world is gravitating towards what we call digital colonies. And when we're talking about digital colonies, it means that technology is driving what everybody is doing. Technology is going to change everything. It's going to change the way we live, the way we do everything. And as we're using technology, of course, we're going to churn out several data. All right. So data is, in every aspect of the economy, in every industry, everything is going to be data driven. If you want to make any meaningful decision about anything you're going to do, you actually need data. All right. All right. So, and take for instance during this lockdown, the only organization that actually stand the test of time are organizations that are data driven. They are organizations that are actually they have digitized their environment. All right.
Mm.
So those are the only organization that that could stand the test of time. Especially what when during the lockdown globally. And what has happened is since the world is, like I said, the world is gravitating towards digital colonies, right? So what's going to happen is this, right? There are so many words that has been using, everywhere, and everybody's talking about digital transformation. Essentially, yeah, that big word digital transformation means you need to use technology to drive your business, and technology is an enabler of business. That means everyone, individual, small businesses, big enterprises need technology to enable, to make sure that technology is an enabler for their business.
Hmm. That is amazing. Digital colony. That reminds me of those sci-fi movies that
Oh yeah,
people just move out of like normal, from Earth to space, and they are, everything is like, even the water, you have to press a button, everything, and in a way, should we be afraid or not? As you rightly said, that we're moving to a digital colony. Is there any danger you foresee? Because with this advent of digital, age, we have folks coming up with different things. Like, one of the simple one I can explain is, the issue of virus. You know, you
okay.
I learned later that virus is actually a program written by individuals. Some
Oh yeah,
folks are writing
yeah,
programs that can benefit humanity, while some can
yes,
sit down and start writing a program called virus that can jeopardize
absolutely,
humanity. So as
yes.
we're moving everything to digital world, is there any form of danger, that we should?
Yeah, the reality, the reality is this. In fact, mark my word, the next global crisis. Right now we're facing what we call is a biological pandemic,
Yeah.
right? The coronavirus is a biological pandemic, but the next global crisis is actually going to be caused by cyber pandemic. And
Hmm.
when you're talking about cyber pandemic, it means the same way you have the coronavirus, which is biological in nature. So there is going to be a virus that is a digital virus, which is going to be a cyber virus that is going to infiltrate a lot of computer systems, and globally. Exactly. So that's actually why I said that the next global crisis is going to be a cyber pandemic. And but then this is not to create fear for anyone. Don't forget, as we gravitate towards digital colonies, right?
Hmm.
Using technology to drive our businesses, digital technologies to do predominantly everything that we're involved in, there comes so many inherent risks. You
Hmm.
understand? But just that the same way during this coronavirus, right? You will see from WHO is coming out with a lot of best practices on
Hmm.
what to do, especially the issue of social distancing comes, where
Yeah.
some call it social distance, some call it physical distance. You
Yeah.
understand? So the same way that you have health best practices, we have cyber hygiene. The same way you in this coronavirus that you need to practice personal hygiene is the same way you need to learn how to practice cyber hygiene. All
Hmm.
right. So if you don't want to become a victim within the next cyber pandemic that is actually coming up, and when we're talking about the cyber hygiene, honestly, it first starts from this awareness, this situational awareness that we are creating. Just like the same way WHO was making awareness around coronavirus and stuff like that. But it will interest you. It will interest you that the same way we talk about in the cyber hygiene to prevent your system being digitally invaded. All right, we talk about asset distancing actually in cybersecurity,
Wow.
just like the human beings are practicing physical distancing now. So you will need to talk about asset distancing. And what is asset distancing? Asset distancing, in the cybersecurity world means you need to, because if you recall in the first session we had, I told you that I told the audience that the internet is a public place.
Yeah.
If the internet is a public place, there is need for assets. And when you're talking about asset now, we're talking about digital assets. You understand? You need to practice digital asset distancing. And the only way you can do that is to properly put in place measures that will separate your system, and that will separate and protect your system. And one of those principle is what is called, of course, for the corporate world. For the corporate world, they use the word network segmentation. Just like, if you go, in fact, I've been going to the banks recently or to a lot of places, everybody is practicing physical distancing. So the same way, you need to be able to do, things like segmenting your enterprises, segmenting your network environment, making sure that the way your system relates with the public internet
Yeah.
does not put your system at risk. And the only way, you understand, the only way is to make sure that and part of those cyber hygienics, you need to make sure that you have good patch management system. A patch management system means that your system is up to date. Don't use systems that has been declared end of life. For instance, a lot of people are still using Windows XP and they're
Mm.
connected to the internet. If you are using Windows XP, I'm just giving an example.
Yeah.
For instance, Microsoft as a company has declared end of life for Windows
Windows
XP.
SP.
So, exactly. So what that means is you're already at risk. You're already not practicing cyber hygiene. It means that every hackers can break into your system because you can't even practice patch management with a Windows XP. So that means you need systems, if depending on the kind of platform that you're using. For instance, I use a MacBook. My MacBook, in fact, just before we started this session, it was already telling me that I have new updates to install. And what those new updates entails is it ensures that your system are patched against inherent vulnerabilities or weaknesses within your system that hackers can hijack. So
Mm.
every individual must make sure you engage yourself in those cyber hygiene practices,
Wow.
so that if you don't want to be digitally invaded.
Wow. Now I can pick some words. Digital colony,
Yes,
cyber hygiene,
yes.
assets distancing.
Distancing, asset
Now
distancing.
we're still
Yes,
going to discuss those. These are very, very, like we're used to like physical distancing, social distancing, face mask, all of this, but these are new, words that we're not used to currently. Like
exactly. Yes.
Dr. Lilo was saying that what is the role of 5G in the future of digital economy and cyber
Oh, in the
colony?
cyber
Should we
colony.
all be suspicious of the introduction of 5G? We're coming back to that question. All those studies are
Okay.
like four questions. We're going to explain what are the main opportunities this pandemic brings to everyday human activities that we might not be seeing? Let's talk about the opportunity first, and then we can now go into all of those, the 5G from Dr. Laiwala Jile, the asset colony, asset distancing, and all of that. So, what are the
Okay.
main opportunities this pandemic brings to everyday human activities that we might not see now?
Now, the opportunities are enormous. You know, don't forget. Let every audience put it at the back of their mind. This is a season of technology revolution. And when we are talking about technology revolution, just like the world, humanity has gone through different ages. There was those days of the oil boom, the industrial revolution, and stuff like that. This is the season of digital revolution, digital transformation. And believe me, this season, to be honest, let me start to say this season has bettered, what the people that I call digital champions.
Mm.
And those digital champions, they're already cleaning out. We can tell. You can see, companies that are prepared for this season. Company like
Like
Amazon,
Zoom.
like Zoom, company like Netflix. So those
Wow.
are digital champions. They've seen the opportunities before now, and they were actually preparing for it. And of course, and this pandemic make them to just catch on, on those opportunities. But then, is it too late? It's not too late for anyone. But I'm now going to categorize different types of people. We started with what? Digital champions.
Yeah.
So there will be what will be called digital smart followers.
Mm.
Digital smart followers are those people that they've now seen that, wow, because, I think for everyone, the very first thing you also need to do is to look at what you're doing currently, your industry, to see what kind of exposures, were you what kind of risk were you exposed to during this pandemic. Some industry, it was a total knockout for them, you
Yeah.
understand, in terms of the exposure was very high risk. He brought down their, a lot of, I was reading sometimes, on the internet, forever 21 closed down. It's a lot of companies closed
Yeah.
down this period because of the exposure, right? And so that means the very first thing you need to do before you start to think about the opportunities is you need to look at, do a form of risk assessment. What was your exposures like in your own industry, to know how you were really disrupted? Is it
Mm.
high exposures? Was it a moderate exposure? Was it a low exposure? Right. Because that will help you to come up with a baseline, to be able
Mm.
to know how to respond, into those opportunities, right? Because when we have those digital champions, in fact, they've already cleaned out. But
Mm.
then you can become a digital smart follower. And what do I mean by digital smart followers? It means that you can, how you now start to look at your own industry. How do you, let's say, for instance, look at what you're doing right now in entertainment. Before now, people have to meet physically, but right now you are using a virtual studio. And,
Yeah.
so it's the same way. You have to start to think, how can I use, in fact, something interesting happened to me in about 3 weeks ago, when I was, just to give a very simple example of a digital smart follower. I wanted to fix something in my car, and I don't want to go to, it was raining in Lagos, it was raining heavily. And then the next thing I did was I went on Instagram, and I was like, okay, there should actually be a mechanic that will be on Facebook that he can fix my kind of car. It was actually a G class part that I needed, and I was like,
Okay.
and you guess what? I went on Instagram and bingo, I saw a guy. You understand,
Wow.
that's actually selling. You understand? So what that guy has done. So don't let us think about big word. You understand what that guy has done is he's already a digital smart follower.
Mm.
I just DM him that, oh, I need so part of a G class. Can you get it for me? Immediately he responded back, asked me for my WhatsApp number, and guess what happened? This guy delivered what I needed into my house. So that means, which is what technology is doing. Technology building system, you understand, into our daily life. And when
Yeah.
I'm talking about system, what is a system? A system simply means save yourself energy, time, and money.
Yeah.
System. You
Mm.
understand? System is save yourself. And so it has
Energy.
saved me the rigorous, effort of going to Ladipo or to wherever, I'll be in traffic for 4 hours. So every businesses, even if you're a one-man business, you need to learn how to use technology to drive your business. In that way, you will become a smart follower. And then as time goes on, there will be digital adopters. But the worst scenario, the worst situation to be is to become a digital latecomer.
Mm.
That time, everybody will have turned out, and at the end of the day, believe me, just like Blockbuster. I don't know if you know the story of Blockbuster. As at 2004, Blockbuster at its peak in 2004 had 5.9 billion dollars in revenue. They have 60,000 stores and 60,000 employees and over
Yeah.
9,000 stores. But guess what? They couldn't see the future of digital transformation.
Mm.
In fact, as at that time, Netflix was trying to sell to Blockbuster, and they refused
Wow.
to buy. And look at today, Blockbuster. Do you know
Well, I don't know.
Blockbuster no more? Blockbuster is no
Wow.
more. But Netflix, now look at Blockbuster at peak was $5.9 billion. But right now, in fact, during this pandemic, Netflix acquired over 60 million additional subscribers, and
Yeah.
Netflix were $199 billion. Can you
There's no
marry that?
comparison. There's no base
There's
of
no
comparison.
comparison. So every industry is going to be disrupted. If you're in
Mm.
education, if you're in medicine, if you're in medicine, if you're in, look at churches. Look at churches. Some past,
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say, so that not without sounding religious, but the reality is, I was just looking at, when you're talking about So about organizations that are digital smart followers or to become a digital champion. Some churches will have already invested a lot of money in digital technology,
Yeah.
doing online services and stuff like that. And guess what? When this pandemic came, what happened? It was seamless for them.
Seamless. Yeah.
It was seamless for them. But Ben, in those rural areas, do you know all those other churches? They,
Uh,
they, they are there. They could not even do anything. Believe me, that is what is going to happen to a lot of
in
people.
fact, I
But
sorry to cut you in. We're talking about digital late commerce.
yes, digital e-commerce, yes.
Someone coming from Nigeria said, we're doing our service on WhatsApp. And I said, how do you do service on WhatsApp? Practically, what they are doing is maybe the pastor will just record a voice, send it, they share it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
said, that is not, doesn't, it's an
Uh,
example of those. In fact, I don't think they are latecomers. They are not even there at all. Because latecomer
yeah.
can still follow, but these are not
No,
there. So,
but we can classify them as digital e-commerce because really, there's no positive impact on what they're doing really. So now, just because because of time, there is enormous opportunities, but coming for individuals, for businesses, because and especially for young people that are looking at they're trying to change their career. There will be opportunities for data scientists, data analysts, artificial intelligence and machine learning specialists, big data specialists, digital transformation specialists, because a lot of organizations will now suddenly need digital transformation specialists that will help them to give them a clear roadmap on how to stay alive in this disruption. There'll be software and application developer analysts. Those are the kind of careers, and that for especially for young people or for a career person that thinks that their own industry has been disrupted and they're looking at building new careers. Yes.
thank you very much. This is still the Global Talkative Series here with Dr. Peter Adewale Obadare. And our topic today is career trends post COVID-19 and cybersecurity control measures. You got to call your friends and neighbors to come tune in because I'm learning some new words today. Digital colony, digital late commerce, and all of that. And Dr. Jile from Birmingham said something about 5G. We're still going to go into that now. But I want to appreciate all our guests, those who are tuning in and who are watching us right now on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Ibadin Gabriel, thank you for joining. Nawo Oluwaseun, thank you. Bukola Min Sarafati from United Kingdom, thank you for joining. Dr. Lairola Jile, thank you. Jacobulo, thank you. The Waking Human, thank you. And all those who are watching us from around the world, thank you very much. This is still the Global Talkative Series. Now, Dr. Ajile asked a question regarding 5G. The challenges. Let me just try and scroll back to the question. It said, "What is the role? What is the role of 5G in the future of digital economy and cyber colony? Should we all be suspicious of the introduction of 5G?"
Okay, so yeah, you can see I'm laughing because believe me, I'm excited about 5G. I'm excited about 5G because 5G is going to enable the digital colony that we're talking about. 5G is going to in fact, if you look at the definition of internet today, they will tell you, that it is information superhighway.
Yeah.
Believe me, 5G is going to, in fact, that definition, 5G is going to validate that definition in terms of, it's going to be really information superhighway because especially for nations across Africa, you understand, where broadband, we're still battling with 1G, 2G.
Yeah.
Of course, in Nigeria, we say we have 3G and 4G. There's a lot of latency. In fact, before I have to come online this platform, I had to make sure I have a lot of broadband redundancy in case if one network fails, I have
Hmm.
to, so that I don't disappoint the audience.
Wow.
But with
Thank you very much for
5G,
that.
the 5G is a super technology that is going to make broadband internet penetration so seamless. All right. In fact, with what means it with 5G, you can there's not going to be any buffer. There's not going to be, the latency is going to be almost reduced to zero because there will be super fast internet services with 5G. Of course, for biologically, just like there's been a lot of things going around about 5G is killing people. Believe me, my brother. The reality is, even when they wanted to launch 1G, that was the same thing they said. If you recall,
Mm-hmm.
when they were trying to launch 1G, 2G, 3G, it's going to cause radiation, people will die. Of course, I'm not a medical scientist, I'm not a
Yeah.
medical man. The truth of the matter, every technology comes, because when you're talking about the issue of radiations, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there might be issues around that. But believe me, and I'm sure Dr. Ajile can even attest to this, even with our phone that we use on our daily lives. They will tell you, don't use your phone.
Yeah, close
Most
to
of the
here,
time,
radiation. In
radiation.
fact, I
But
sorry to cut you in. I heard of a celebrity. What's her name? Lady Gaga. But
okay,
because of that, she doesn't receive a phone call. She has a
exactly,
special assistant that picks the call for her
exactly,
because she can afford.
exactly,
She has the money. She can hire someone. Just your job is hold my phone. When there's a call, you pick the phone and probably find a way. So that
exactly,
is the fair with just the mobile phone. But people are not
exactly.
saying that.
But,
Okay,
but
that
as that stopped us from using mobile phone. In
no
fact,
way.
it tell you every day the all the risks around mobile phone. In fact, even me at some point, don't put. It's so scary. But that has not stopped the world from using mobile phone. The same thing with 5G technology. Honestly, it's coming with a lot of opportunities to drive digital transformation across the world. In fact, in telemedicine, in fact, for people like Dr. Ajile, when 5G is installed, believe me, he won't need to go to the hospital because the way the internet will be so super fast that there will be 3D rooms, three-dimensional room. Where
Yeah.
when he will be like he's in the hospital, communicating with, even now we're doing telemedicine and stuff like that. But with 5G, it will be so seamless that, in fact, in the comfort of his home, it will treat his patient, and then it will be so real as if he's with the customer because there's no buffering of the internet and everything. So 5G is a super technology that I can't wait for it to take off, even in Nigeria.
Yeah, thank
Yes.
you very much for talking about that tele medicine practicing because
Yeah.
recently here in the Western world, I heard realtors now, because of the issue of COVID-19, they now have virtual, real estate, house, visits.
Yeah.
Like you want to go house hunting, you want to go
Yeah.
check out a property, they have a
Yeah.
virtual house that you
Oh, yeah.
can, you don't need to come. They position a camera or do some digital effect that you just stay right of your in the comfort of your house, and then they just give you an access key, and then you can inspect the house that you want to rent
Yes.
from the
Yes.
comfort of your phone, and you can do that. Now, that leads me to the next question, because we have all this telemarketing, telemedicine, assessing properties, cars. You can even start a car with your phone,
Oh
with all
yes.
of
Oh
that.
yes. Oh yes. Oh
You
yes.
can do, someone just fixed my house gate recently, and then I had on time before snow fall started, before we go to the snow period. Now, the good thing, the most interesting thing about this is that from my phone, anywhere I
Yeah.
can access the gate of my house, my garage. I can
Yeah.
close, I can open, I can monitor
Yeah.
everything
Yeah.
that is happening.
Exactly.
Now,
Exactly.
all of this, is going on in our world. We are seeing
Yeah.
all this happening left, right, and center. Now that takes me to the next question. What
Okay.
are the dangers and challenges it possesses for humans in regard to cybersecurity? I know you
Oh,
mentioned it briefly, but for the
yeah.
benefit of our audience who are just joining, because I see a lot of folks joining. We have Ken Ajele, Ken the Kuobi with questions waiting that I'm going to ask as well. And we have Area for D joining. And so, what are the
Okay.
dangers and challenges it possesses for humans in regard to cybersecurity?
Okay. And I think the best way to answer that question is, I will use the Hush Puppy case to answer that question. All right. So, see, cybersecurity issues are very big. We cannot exhaust that topic on this session. But so that for the advantage of the people, viewers at home, wherever they are, see, if you look at the Hush Puppy and the Mr. Woodbury case, all right,
Yeah.
those two guys that were extradited from Dubai, you know, believe me, if you have read that story, they said that they compromised over 2,000 accounts of individuals.
Hmm.
And you can see, so, and basically what they were doing is actually pretty simple. It was about business email compromise. You understand? And when they do business email compromise, it's so easy because they just send you a phishing email. What is a phishing email? An unsolicited email. You click on it, all right. So, and when you click on it, of course, if you don't have a good antivirus, two things is, I don't want to sound too technical. They do what is called total account takeover. So they have access to your username and password, and of course they start to, all those things, try to spend your money on your behalf, right? Okay, so those are the kind of things that will happen to a lot of people, a lot of businesses, a lot of individuals, if you do not, if you know, because going online, there's actually what is called, there are three elements of security. There is confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Most of the time, people look at the availability part. The availability in the sense that, okay, am I available on the internet? Yes, I am available. But then you need to be concerned about the concept of, how are you making sure, you're keeping the confidentiality of your data? How are you sure you are keeping the integrity of your data? For instance, imagine a small business that is online. Maybe on online, you try to set up your website and you want to make people buy things on the internet. So the integrity of that website, if you don't do the integrity of the website, it is very possible that I will order something online, right? If you don't follow, there is what we call best practices in application development. If you do not practice those basic cyber hygiene from software development lifecycle point of view, what that means is I can make a request, do a request online, say, okay, send me so worth of goods, right? Let's say you are selling small chops, because now we have said that everybody
I have an
should
online
should
presence.
digitize their business, online
Yeah.
presence. Then you're selling small chops, and then maybe you have now integrated it with a payment platform. You understand, so that everything can be seamless. I
Yeah.
can make an order, and then if your system lack integrity, guess what? I can There's a way I can impute a negative integer. It will look as if I have paid, and you will deliver to me. And at the end of the day, you will think you have received money, but when you get to your bank, you will not see any money.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah.
Hmm.
So, there are a lot of what they call business logic attacks. Believe me, it can ground a business. It can totally ground a business. The same way it affect individual is the same way it affects. And I'll give you another example of one of, as a penetration tester. Okay, as a penetration tester, as a licensed penetration tester, what it means is we have the privilege to test system. And there was a time we test a system in an organization. That particular platform was supposed to be paying people salary, right? So logic will tell you that that kind of platform, logic means that if there is no money, it shouldn't be able to pay people, right? Right,
Yeah.
that's logic. But guess
Yes.
what? Because we're talking about the danger of all of this digitalization. If you don't do the right thing, you don't practice cyber hygiene. So
Yeah.
now, to cut the long story short, this platform, because it was not built on those cyber hygiene practices, especially, there is the concept of what is called input validation, and what have you. So what we did, and in fact, my chief technical officer and a co-founder of Digital Encode, that's what we did. We created a platform that is
I can hear you on. I guess we have some interruption from the Facebook and YouTube platform. I don't think they can't hear. Let's just see what we can do from our hand to see that we're hearing back from the YouTube. Let's just quickly, so that for our YouTube audiences. Okay, you might want to put it. Can you just Wally, can you just sign in back to the link for our YouTube audience, our YouTube and Facebook audiences? We are offline, so we're just going to sign it back. Sorry for the interruption. We want to connect back to our audiences on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you very much. Sorry for the interruption. We'll continue from where Dr. Peter stopped, which is input validation and error handling. Yeah, he's gonna coming back. Okay, yes, I can see you.
All right, so I
Okay,
think I'm back.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
back on social media, on Facebook and YouTube. Sorry for the
Okay.
interruption. Let's
Sorry.
continue. Error handling, validation, coding, a lot of that.
All right. Okay, because the question was, we're talking about what the
The
danger.
thing- Yes.
See, on that platform, yes, on that platform, hackers understand all those principles, and that was what we did. The negative experience we had with that platform was we created
Dr. Peter, sorry, it seems the okay, we're going back. We're trying to get back to the YouTube and Facebook. It's trying to. Okay, yeah, we're back. Okay, let's continue.
You can see that's why we need 5G.
Yeah, we need 5G, Lord. From my hand here, we
Yeah,
okay.
long story short, that system we it was possible to move like almost 1 billion naira from that platform because there was a fundamental flaw on the
Wow.
platform.
And is
So
it actual money being paid?
it just because there is no time. Let me not lie to you. See, in accounting, accounting will tell you for every credit there must be a corresponding debit.
Yeah.
That is accounting principle. But in hacking, a credit can be you can have a situation where there is credit, there is debit in hacking. Let me be
Wow.
honest with you. And all the youth, all those people like Hush Puppy, there are so many smaller Hush Puppies here and there. Let me just tell you the truth. They
Mm,
are going online because they're learning all of these things online. It is
mm,
free. Learning hacking tools on how to break into system, on how to steal people's money. So believe me. So as we are going through our digital transformation journey, don't be too in a hurry not to put in place the right things. You understand? There are best practices. For instance, if you want to build a website, build it to no matter how small it is, employ the right person to do it for you. There are methodologies. There's a methodology called OAPS. If you're going to build a data a web application which is going to be database driven, right? There's a methodology called Open Web Application Security Project. It's
mm,
going to allow you to be able to see that most of the attacks like SQL injection, cross-site request forgery, cross-site scripting, all those kind of attacks will not be possible on your platform because if you don't do it, hackers don't know whether you are small or big on the internet. When you're
yeah.
on in the internet, honestly, yeah, and if you don't practice those cyber hygiene, there are a lot of dangers in it.
Mm. I think when you're saying if internet is a global platform, it's a public space. It's
Yeah.
like in my own layman's explanation, you are in the markets, like market in Africa, and you have some of the market women or people who are selling the market. Some have umbrellas and shades, and some are just selling in
Ah,
open space. And then it started raining. Obviously, if you are selling something in open space without any shade, rain will fall on your goods and it get damaged. But those with sheds, with covers, with canopies, they get protected from the rain. That is the way. Please, if my explanation is similar to
yeah,
internet
yeah.
space,
Your explanation is actually in order. That's a very good one because and to buttress what you have said, rain is an example of disaster, right? That
yeah.
can impact anybody in the marketplace. So there are a lot of looming digital disasters all over the place.
Mm.
Digital disasters. One of them is ransomware. One of them is what I've just blew this business email compromise. One of them is phishing. One of them is SQL injection attack. You see, there are so many digital disasters. Unfortunately, people don't know. You understand? So, which is why we're creating this situational awareness
Mm.
that yes, you want to create a digital transformation experience for your business or even for yourself as an individual. Another example I'm going to give is, people now today, they want to connect to the internet. You want to do something very sensitive, transactional, I see a lot of big guys, big boys, they want to connect to the internet and they're using public Wi-Fi. And I'm like,
Mm.
what? Yes, you can use
Wow.
public Wi-Fi to do research, anything that is not transactional in nature. But then, if you want to do any transaction, anything that has to do with money, don't ever use a public Wi-Fi because it is very possible to do. In fact, there's an attack called just like one of the digital disaster using a wireless in public Wi-Fi. It is what is called a man in the middle attack. It's called
Wow.
ARP poison. So I
Man in the
can
middle
poison the
attack.
network. Yes, man, the middle. So everybody that is connected to that public Wi-Fi, I become man in the middle. So they go through me to browse because there are
Wow.
tools. All those tools free on the internet. Let me just tell you the truth. They download it on their phone. They poison the public Wi-Fi, and then everybody that is connected, they are investing their username and password to whatever platform they are connecting to, whether their Facebook, whether their LinkedIn profile, their Instagram account, which is why today most of those even social media platform is now saying go to settings. It's very, but one of the basic cyber hygiene is if you're on Instagram, you're on LinkedIn, you're on Facebook, you are using Google, you are using Yahoo, make sure you enable two-factor authentication.
Hmm.
That in case someone, maybe you have used a public Wi-Fi and someone has asked your username and password, they will need your two-factor.
Yeah.
Like you're talking, even on WhatsApp too. Today you see a lot of people WhatsApp number has been hijacked because they didn't go to the settings to enable two-factor
Authentication.
on WhatsApp. So all those things, let me not lie to you. Just like like I said earlier, we have personal hygiene. You need to practice those basic to avoid these digital disasters. Those are you need to practice those cyber hygiene. So if you don't take anything out of this session, to everyone that is watching me, especially if you're on social media, go to your Instagram page, enable two-factor, go to your Gmail, your Yahoo, make sure two-factor is enabled because it will save you from the looming danger account.
Hmm. Thank you very much. You
Yes.
said something about man in the middle attack.
Yes.
Specifically, when it comes to using a public Wi-Fi. Now, and you mentioned,
Yes.
which I believe is a dumb thing to be doing monetary transaction using the public
Yes.
Wi-Fi. But the flip side is this: you're doing the research online and you're using the public Wi-Fi, because I've done that before. In the airport, I'm traveling from one and I'm connecting from one airport to another airport. I connect. In the
Yes.
hospitals, I connect.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
is
Yes.
it possible that once you're signing your information through the public Wi-Fi, even though you're not doing a public monetary or cash transaction, but you still have to put some
Yes.
information, authentication, and then they can have access. Is there a level of
Okay. Okay.
compromise? that they can access your accounts, all of that.
Believe me. Yes. Yes. So yeah. So which is why it's a difficult situation. All right, because if you ask me to, I use hotel Wi-Fi's. I use but there are solutions. So and
Okay.
that's part of a major practice, cyber hygiene. In fact, if you after this session, if you go online, just go to www. A lot of top executives, they install it on their on their phone
What do
or
you
on
call the
their
website
laptop, so
again?
that
What do you call the website?
it is it's w private wi-fi.com.
Private Wi-Fi.
www private wi-fi. Yeah,
Wi-Fi.com. I want
just
to
one of the
display it
example
for,
exactly. Private
yeah,
wi-fi. Yeah,
just for audience to see.
yes, private
Private
wi-fi. Yeah, exactly.
Wi-Fi.com.
In
Okay.
fact, so you is an one of the example of the kind of solution you can buy, especially if you travel a lot. And it's not expensive. I think it's about $50 a year. I can't remember right now,
Okay.
but at least it insulates you. It insulates you and protects you from that danger.
Hmm.
Honestly,
Hmm.
I can't tell you a lot of people, a lot of friends that they were traveling. And I'll give you an example of one big guy was working in Chevron. He was traveling, and at the airport, he connected to his email, to his Yahoo email. He has not enabled two-factor authentication, and because the office email doesn't allow him to use public Wi-Fi, it won't work because a lot of big corporations, they understand this danger.
Hmm.
So he was using his Yahoo. So most of his bank transactions are in his Yahoo box.
Wow.
Those boys got his username and password. They read through his mail and they discovered that, wow, this is a big boy, Chevron guy. They saw the way he normally sent transaction to his bank. Guess what they did? An interesting thing about your Yahoo email or Gmail is if I log into your email, you won't know. Especially, because when I read your mail, it has a feature. So if I read your mail to say unread,
Yeah.
if I read it, I can change it back to unread. So you
Wow.
won't know. So at the end of the day, they stole this guy's identity, and they stole this guy's identity. They sent an instruction to his bank. In fact, what saved him was that his account officer knew that he has traveled to the US. The account officer was now shocked that this guy, I saw you yesterday. You told me you were traveling. How come this instruction? So she didn't treat the instruction, and then now later called. They have a personal relationship. Believe me, that was what saved him.
Wow.
If not, that transaction will have gone. In fact, a lot of organizations have lost money. Individuals have lost money through the usage of public Wi-Fi because some people have access to their email address.
Wow.
Dr. Adelaya is
Yes.
asking for two factors icon. Well,
Yes.
it depends on the platform. It depends on the platform. On Facebook, if you go to on so you will see enable two factor for WhatsApp too. Just go to settings. You will see under security, under privacy and security, you will see how to enable two factors authentication on all of those yeah platforms.
Hmm. Wow, this is still the Global Talkative series, a global platform where we receive instructions that will help us to be a better person, to be safe, to be sane, and to, be a brother's keeper, because that is all what this show is about, to be a brother's keeper and not a brother's killer. And we've been blessed to have amazing guests like our guest today, Dr. Peter Obadari. Uh, it's an amazing brother who is talking to us about, the challenges and the opportunity regarding cybersecurity. And our topic today is career trends post COVID-19 and cybersecurity control measures. We have about like 8 minutes more on Instagram, but on Facebook and YouTube, we have, we can continue. So, because we have some questions that have been sent in, which we need to address. And this is the second time Dr. Peter is on this show. So, I want to maximize this time. So, for our Instagram viewers, if we time out, we're going to sign in again while we continue on Facebook and YouTube, but we're just going to sign in just about like 3 minutes, signing, and we'll continue. Now, I have a question from Kende Okuobi. The question is this. He said, please, Dr. Wale, how did you prepare to train young ones so they can follow your step? In other words, like, is there a form of mentoring, or what kind of school of, or where can they learn? People want to develop because you are saying this. People, wow, I need to know this. I need to learn this. I'm curious about this. Now, lately here in the Western world, there is this training for younger kids about coding. How to do coding from middle school, like what we call primary school. I'm not sure whether that is available all around. So to answer Dr. Mr. Okwabi's question, what sort of mentoring or what sort of career path will you tell, young ones who are interested in learning about this to follow?
Okay. Okay. Well, to be honest with you, it's very simple. The only thing that you will need is internet. We're going back to the internet. That's why I can't wait for 5G to start. Honestly, because today, as we speak, everybody can be a self-learner. If
Mm,
you have, all you need is your phone and the internet. All these things that I'm talking about, if you want to become the best data scientist in the world today, you just need your phone and the internet. There are a lot of free courses on data sciences, on data science. There are a lot of free courses on all those opportunities that I've talked about to become a machine learning expert, to become a big data expert, to become cybersecurity expert, to become in fact anything, in fact this, to become a virtual, in fact if you Google today, how do I how do I become a virtual entertainer, it will amaze you, Larry, the
mm,
tons of information on step by step what you need to do. You understand? Which is why broadband access. I think the best thing that can happen to any country is to have access, free access to internet broadband, to broadband access. That's the best. So because that's all you need. Of course, you need a smartphone, not necessarily an expensive smartphone, right? Any smartphone, that can help you to, so you can. What I'm trying to say next is you can be a star, a self. You can train yourself.
the
Of
planner, yeah.
course, when as you advance in the career, you can now start to cross fertilize ideas with experts in the field. But for the foundation, you can build those foundation learning from the internet,
Yeah.
because there are tons and tons of, in fact, most of the things, to be honest with you, before I start to go to those big schools, this thing, most of those things, we self-taught ourselves, to be honest with
Mm,
you. In fact, my business partner jokingly used to say that the best university in the world is Google. And I'm talking about as
mm,
far back as when we started IT, as far back as the year 2000, 2001, when there is even no one to go to. Believe me, practically most of the things we learn in our foundational areas, we just Google it. Google
mm,
University. Just
mm,
Google it. Anything you want, any area, you want to learn about robotics, it's on the internet. I won't lie to you. But just that the only challenge is beyond that, you need determination. You
mhm,
need determination and you need to be disciplined. A lot of times, people look at all these opportunities, they look at big figures. Oh, guys, there are opportunities in digital transformation. Can you discipline yourself? Can so beyond just having broadband access and try to, you need discipline, you need focus to know, pick an area. All right. When you pick that area, then apply the principle of determination and discipline so that you can be on top of the career.
mm, mm. Dr. Ajile says something. I have a question from Ibadan Gabriel regarding IOTS and A1, but I'm going to pose the question shortly. Dr. Ajile said ethical hackers. Is there a thing like that? Ethical hackers.
Yes, I am an ethical hacker. Yes, let the word yes. All right. So, in fact, that's actually why when you were reading my bio, all right, you were reading my bio and you said I became the first licensed penetration tester in Africa. Yes. So, that is the license, like penetration testing, ethical hackers are licensed. They are licensed penetration testers because what
Mm.
essentially you're doing is you are helping organization, to help them discover inherent weaknesses within their systems. All right, so that okay,
We'll be
the
back on
Instagram is going to
Instagram.
go.
We'll be back on Instagram.
Okay,
Just let me just quickly send this, and then we'll come
okay,
back to our audience, and we'll still continue. So
all
we're just gonna
right,
go back
okay,
on Instagram right about now. Okay, we're coming back now.
all right, okay,
Okay, welcome back to our viewers on Instagram. This is still the Global Photography Series with Dr. Peter Obadare, and our topic today is still career trends post COVID-19 and cybersecurity control measures. So we have Dr. Peter Obadare back in the studio. Thank you very much for coming back to be on this studio. It's like the topic is very very. It's like it's hot and I believe people want to learn. So the last question was from Dr. Ajile from Birmingham. He said,
yeah,
is there anything like ethical hackers? And you were saying something about, okay, you are the first penetration tester. So maybe you are an ethical hacker because you are certified. But what do you call people like Osh Poppy?
yes.
Are they unethical?
Oh yes, so they call them. There are different categories of hackers. Really, there are different categories. Are they back online? Is Dr. Ajile
Yeah,
back online?
they're going to join us. I'm sure
Okay,
they're going to be notified. They will join us. Don't worry
okay.
about that.
So
Instagram will send them notifications.
okay. So all right. So yeah, in fact, in the theory of hacking, really there are people that we call white hat hackers. We
Mm,
have gray hat hackers, and we have
mm,
the black hats.
mm.
Though the because of these, all right. So Dr. Ajile just joined. All right, he's back online. All right. So I was just trying to talk about the different categories of hackers. Okay, because Larry was saying, just like you asked, Dr. Ajile, is there anything like ethical hackers? Yes, there are different categories in the where in the concept of hacking. There are white hat hackers, we have the black hat hackers, and we have the gray hackers. Though there's this movement now that want to change the nomenclature because of the Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives
That why
Matter.
should you be calling it black hat? So
Hackers.
why is it that every time all the bad thing is
Bad
synonymous
thing
with
is
black
black.
people?
Oh, well, they're right
Yeah. So
because you don't have to be. It doesn't have to be white to be right.
exactly. So, but as it is right now, the white hat hackers are known to be ethical hackers. They are licensed to do penetration testing of the security system because they go through rigorous certification program. All right, writing exams. In fact, when I became a licensed penetration tester, in fact, before they gave me the license, I had to go to to get police report, to say to collect all my fingerprints, just to show
Wow.
that you are not criminally minded before they can issue you the license.
They do some
But
background
then
checks on you.
background check, all of those kind of stuff. But the reality is, so black hackers they are the ones that are black. They are very unethical. They are those hackers like Osh Poppy, Woodbury, all those people that we hear about, right? But then there's an interesting one. The gray hat hackers are those hackers that during the day they are white, but during the night they are black.
Wow.
So
Double
honestly, even some
edge.
consultants.
Double edge.
Oh yeah. So that's why you have to be very careful. You have to be very careful to know who you are dealing with, because some consultants that they are supposed to be ethical hackers, because of greed, can become unethical.
Wow.
So there is a, yeah. So you need to know who you are dealing with. But really, yes, ethical hackers, because they call them ethical hackers because they actually help organizations to help them improve their cybersecurity postures. And that's what I do. That's what I do for a lot of organizations across the globe. just to make sure that they have a robust defensive strategies on how to combat black hat hackers.
Mm.
Yes.
Now, there's a question about if I have a website now in Canada and I want you to help to diagnose, like, we can go to doctors and then a doctor will do a diagnosis of, okay, what's wrong with you? I'm feeling something in my stomach. I don't know. They're going to run a diagnosis on you, and then before going to, okay, let's do an X-ray or blood test, all of that, just to analyze your physical, mental
Yeah.
body,
Oh,
situation,
yeah.
what's wrong
Yeah.
with you. Can they do the same thing? Like, I have a website, I send it to you, another information. Being a trusted penetration tester, can you do a digital analysis or diagnosis of a website? Even though we are not here, I'm not in Nigeria with you. Do you do that kind
Yeah.
of services?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. In fact, cybersecurity is so synonymous to medicine. To be honest with you, that was why when we're talking about the biological pandemic, and now we're talking about cyber pandemic. See,
Yeah.
cybersecurity is so synonymous to medicine. The same way you can do a diagnosis text, do an X-ray. So yes, we do all of that. In fact, you don't even need to tell. I just need your website address. But of course, for a licensed penetration tester, is a paid for service. It's a
Mm,
paid for service. I just need the URL. In fact, it will tell me, just like a doctor will run a diagnostic tools on you. It will tell you whether your BP is high, whether the person's high blood sugar is high. The same way, by running those tools on your website, it will show all the vulnerabilities. All they call them vulnerability scanners. It will
mm,
show all the loopholes, all the entries someone can come into your website and hack you. And
wow.
then, of course, beyond that. So what ethical hackers now do is to now guide you to say, okay, you need to close this door, you need to close these vulnerabilities, so that then do another scan again. Exactly. So, in fact, in the world of ethical hacking, there are two steps. There is the vulnerability assessment,
Yeah.
which do a diagnosis of all the weaknesses, and then there is penetration testing.
Mm,
Penetration testing now takes further to say, oh, this vulnerability, is it exploitable?
mm,
Because you can have vulnerabilities and it might not be exploitable. In
mm.
fact, because we have what is called risk categories of risk. There are low risk, medium risk, high risk in doing this kind of vulnerabilities
Interesting.
assessment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's go to the question from a gentleman from Nigeria who is a protege of Mr. Kende Okwobi. He said something. He said, initially, he said it's exciting to finally connect to two great friends of my teacher, Okwobi, Johnny G. Mr. Okwobi, organizes teachings for and schooling and education and all of that. So the question is this, uh, Dr. Peter Adewale, sir, as a leading light and a torch bearer in IT and cybersecurity in Nigeria and extension to Africa, what plans do you have for our youth to better position us for the challenge of active participation in this data economy? IoT, yes, I don't know what that means, but I know of AI, which is artificial intelligence, and other trends in industry.
Okay, great question from Ibadan. Ibadan. Okay, so IoT is Internet of Things. That's what IoT means.
Mm,
So, like I said earlier, to be honest with you, I'm going to borrow the word of one of my role model that a woman that I like so much in Nigeria, by the name Ibukun Awoshika. She was talking about something. She said something in a program that I attended some times ago. People, she said a lot of people reach out to her to say, oh, come and mentor me, come and mentor me, come and mentor me. But the
mm.
reality, he said, how many people can she mentor? That the only
Two.
way is that the best way to mentor people is for people to develop the habit of reading, culture of, research, and then, because that's the only way you can do mass mentoring for people.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to tell Ibadan is this. The very first start to start this journey really is for you is try and discipline yourself. to get a smartphone and uh, um, an internet,
Hmm.
and pick an area. If it is Internet of Things, it is robotics. Pick an area, develop yourself. Maybe this is telling Larry Ajayi to call, or people like Kende as well, to start a class, running digital, all of the, so those are the kind of courses you can engage in. You can start a class, then and charge people for it.
Hmm.
Yes.
That is amazing.
So
Now, we there's a question that there's a question that has been coming to my mind while we started this session about digital cleansing. How to make sure that your digital space is safe.
okay.
Now, I am not an IT person.
Yeah.
We are not going to, not all
Okay.
of us. Some of us are, some are doctors, some are lawyers, some are called
Yeah.
engineers, some are called artists, some are called musicians, some are called housewife, house father. All of that, I've seen them here. In a very simple way, how can we observe this digital cleansing? And you also said something about digital assets distancing. Those two things. How can we practice digital
Yes.
access
Yes.
distancing and digital cleansing, like on our own in a safer way that can still we can still maintain some sense they can still save that we can be safe in a way.
Okay. Okay. So I think at the very basic level, the only way, you understand, that you can, and I'm going to use the word
Hmm.
Okay, let's start from, in normal cleansing in life. When you wake up, what do you do? You take your toothbrush, take for instance your password, privacy, your things are on your system.
Okay, Dr. Wale, can you please I think we have some internet issues, it's out, it's time out from the YouTube and YouTube platform. You might probably need to sign in back. That is the reason why we need the 5G to come, so that places from areas with low bandwidth can still have the opportunity to enjoy this internet speed that we're talking about. Especially, I remember back home myself in Africa when I was in Nigeria. We have to wait for emails to load. We have to, it's buffering, it's doing all of that. It's, doing so many things. And then you're trying to, like, search for just the simple, messages on Google. And then you have to wait, hours, trying to get something little. And that is why this we need to have this 5G. And I hope people have a better understanding of what it is. So we're going to be connecting back to Dr. Peter Badari right back for our YouTube and Facebook followers. On Instagram, we're still live. We're still, I can see some buffering as well. But these are the reason why you know this discussion is coming at this point in time to understand uh, the importance of you know 5G, and then how to assess the opportunity that comes. Because I know that with the advent of the 5G, basically the issues around cybersecurity will be much more simpler for people around the world. We'll be able to connect, better. We'll be connect. We'll be closer. We can share more information faster, and then we can have access to more information faster. So Dr. Peter is coming right back on. We're expecting him. Is still okay. So we're expecting Dr. Peter to join us right now on. Still waiting for you to connect. Sorry for the transmission and all of the little internet transmission from here. We're just going to be running up in the next few minutes, and we still want Dr. Peter to come back to the studio. I think we can continue. Let's continue. Well, with it's still buffering. It's still trying to connect back to our audiences, on YouTube and Facebook. So, Dr. Peter, can continue while we wait for this to come back. Wow. Well, Dr. Gillen said, have they asked you? No. Hmm, 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 hmm. That is amazing. Wow. 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 You just try to sign it back into. Okay, it's coming back now, and we're gonna connect. We have about like 10 less than 15 minutes more to round up this session. We're still waiting for the internet to connect back to our audiences on YouTube and Facebook. Wow, this. Okay, we're back.
Is it
We're
back?
back. Yes, we're back.
Okay, we're back.
Wow. Sorry for this trans.
We're back.
Yeah, we're back.
Yes, we're back. Okay. All right. So we're back. Okay. So sorry, you can see why. So Dr. Agile, you can see why we need 5G. They didn't hack me, but the internet was timed out. So I'm actually using two internet service provider, and all right. So let's just quickly. So like I said, I was saying also one of the cleansing I would also say is always be careful, be cautious of special offers. In fact, what you're going to see after when the economic actually fully open, right? What you are going to see is there will be a lot of special offers. Be very, very careful of special offers because most of them are finishing in nature, right? So what I'm going to say in essence is think before you click. Think before you click and leave. Always careful of lookalike domains.
Mm. our audiences on sorry, doctor, our audiences on Facebook and YouTube. We're just going to bring the discussion to an end here because of the itch and glitches on the internet. So we'll just round up from from Instagram from Dr. Uh, Peter Badari. So we'll be right back. We'll see you next time for all of our audiences on YouTube and Facebook. Thank you for tuning in today with Global Talkative Series.